What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Chance Talks Business Podcast. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be talking about the power of patience. Now, we live in a fast-paced world, and we live in a world of instant gratification. We get on social media, we run through, scrolling through different reels or shorts on YouTube, and it's kind of like we're getting instant gratification. We're getting dopamine hits. We go on to Amazon, we order something, automatically, it's coming to our door within 48 hours, sometimes the same day. You order groceries online, boom, in a few minutes, they're showing up at your doorstep. So we're used to a world where everything is instant and we don't have to wait for the gratification like we used to. In business, sure, you have to move with some kind of swiftness and some kind of purpose, but building a great business takes time. We look online and we see all the gurus talking about how they got rich, $1 million in 30 days and stuff like that. That's just not the normal circumstances that happen. Even, I'm not questioning if they done it or not, but on average, you're not going to hit those kind of numbers. It's going to take years of building your relationships with people and just working on your business before you get to that point. Sure, there's some businesses that are able to pull this off and they're able to become overnight successes. But even in those cases, most of the time they've had businesses that's failed before that they learn from. Like me, for instance. I've always had a side hustle that I was working on while I worked my full-time job, and a lot of those failed. I was in the music business for 10 years or so, and I didn't have a lot of success because I didn't really know the power of networking, and like we're talking about today, I just wasn't patient. I just wanted things to happen overnight. And I know other people that's been in the music business for 15 or 20 years, and it's just now paying off for them. And they're just now able to create a name for themselves. A lot of times I think that we quit before we reach where we need to be. And sometimes we quit right before we hit that point. And that's what I've done a lot with my businesses. I would start like a lawn care business and I would work it one summer. And if it didn't just take off, then I thought, well, this isn't for me. Or the music stuff, as I stuck with that, it grew a little bit more as I grew my business. But then when I got into marketing, I started out with just a few clients my first year. And as time has went on, I've doubled business or more than doubled business every year since I started my business. And it's been hard. When I first started out, it was hard. Luckily, I was in a situation to where I was able to make it work. I know not a lot of people are able to, but I had somewhat of a plan and I had a dedicated timeline to saying, I'm going to stick to this no matter what. I've always had a bad habit of only giving things 2 or 3 years and then switching. And even with careers, it's like I would work a job for 2 or 3 years and then I would get bored with it whenever I wasn't making progress, when other people had been working the same jobs for 15 and 20 years and were just now getting to the positions that I wanted to be in. You have to go through a certain process to learn the skills that you need to be a successful business owner. Sure, these businesses that build these quick overnight success type businesses, if they don't have the foundations that they need and aren't the person that can sustain that business, then they're going to fail with what they're doing. It's going to take you time to build the relationships and the skills and the know-how and the systems to run a successful business if you've never done it before. If you've had experiences in businesses before and you know what you may fail at, if you know last time that this situation was a problem or not having standard operating procedures was an issue for you, then going into it, you may be able to shrink that time down that you're having to wait. But for the majority of us, we're going to have to wait until our businesses grow. You have to develop trust within the marketplace and be able to prove that you're worth doing business with. Because no matter how good you market, if you're just starting out it's going to be hard to find clients. There's going to be a lot of setbacks. There's going to be things that happen that you're not expecting. You may think that you're going to launch this great product or service and it's just going to take off, and it doesn't. And you have to know how to pivot from that, and you have to be patient and know that maybe it's not working right now, but if you continue to push that product or service, then if it has potential, then it can grow into something that's working. But it may take a year of marketing or 2 years of marketing to be able to make that product become successful. Being a business owner, you have to be resilient, and you have to be able to kind of flow with the punches and just be able to counterpunch whenever things happen. You have to be able to move quickly, so you do have to be able to make decisions fast. You do have to be able to have some kind of speed to your business, but you have to just trust the process and know that if you continue to do the right things on a daily basis, they will compound and it will lead to success. Now, you cannot use the power of patience as an excuse and say, well, I'm just going through the process, but then, you're sitting around eating Doritos all day long watching Netflix. That's not going through the process. You have to strategically build the skills that you need, whether you're a freelancer or if you're actually operating a business. You have to build those skills and take those skills to the marketplace, market them, wait for the trust to be built, because as soon, just like with this podcast, if I'm consistently building value and bringing value to the people that are listening and watching, they're going to keep coming back. If I'm not bringing any value, they're going to tune out. So, but I also know that it may take 2 years, 3 years. I know people that's had podcasts and consistently posted and have YouTube channels they consistently posted on for years. Nothing ever happened. And all of a sudden, they've built credibility within the market and they become successful. Patience is a skill that you have to develop. So first, I would say if you're a business owner, get a clear goal of where you're headed. And that goal can be very intimidating unless you break it down into smaller parts. If you just look at the big picture in general, it may cause you to just pause and not do anything. But if you look at that goal, you break down and say, year 1, I'm going to do this. Year 2, I'm going to do this. Year 3, I'm going to do this. And then just project it out until you reach your goal, and just break those years down into smaller goals, and then just worry about focusing on those and know that you're working toward the big picture. And you got to think, I'm in this for the long run. I'm not in it to get rich quick, because I know that in general, that doesn't work out. So just go ahead and get you a 15 or 20-year plan together, or a 10-year plan, even if you're planning on exiting out of your company at some point. Just figure out and get clear on what your goal is, and then break that down, and that will help you kind of stay patient and know that you're going to reach your full potential and reach the end result eventually. But you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you're able to hit milestone markers on the way to getting to where you want to go. And I would say that, just embrace it. I used to hear people say it all the time, I'm in love with the journey, and I'm here for the journey. Like, the results are great, but I'm just here for the journey. And I didn't really understand that. I was thinking like that, to me, that just didn't make sense, because all I wanted was the result, and all I wanted was to have the things that I wanted, and I wanted it now. I didn't have any patience for the journey. But as I've been on this journey for the last 5 or 6 years, I've learned that the journey is what's important, because the journey to your destination is what builds you to become the person to withstand that journey. So without the journey, if you just get what you want handed to you without going through the whole process, you're going to lose it, because you didn't become the person that you needed to be able to keep what you've attained. So as you're chasing after what you want, you're going to develop different skills that is going to turn you into the person that's able to sustain the success that you've reached. I look at myself at 19, 20 years old, And I would not be able to do the things that I'm doing now at that age. There may be another 18, 19-year-old that's able to be the leader that I wasn't able to be at 18 or 19 because they've already invested in themselves, or maybe they had different life experiences. I didn't feel like at 19, 20 years old that I would be able to run a business the way that I run it now. So things happen as you go along in life. Everything that I've been through has led me to this point and has led me to be able to own and operate the business that I do. I had positions where I was leaders. I had positions where I had to create SOPs for other companies. I had to do a lot of organizational stuff for other companies. So that naturally, when I became a business owner myself, I was able to know how to do those things, and I got paid to learn to do those things. So the job that you're in right now, if you're working a full-time job or if you're working part-time, learn everything that you can learn from, especially if you work for a big corporation or, a very successful business. Learn everything that you can learn and take those tips and techniques that you learn from that company and apply it to your own. And that kind of gives you a head start too to study other good companies. Patience is something that's very important when you're building your business, and you have to just know that if you continue to do the right things and you continue down a successful path, ultimately it's going to lead to the goal that you want, or you're going to get very close to it. If you just jump into it with no plan and you get discouraged anytime that something happens and you think this is never going to happen because you're watching Instagram and YouTube videos where people are telling you if you're not a millionaire by the time you're 25, then you're doing something wrong. If you look at the averages and the odds of that happening, it's way lower than someone having to work at their business for 10 or 15 years before they reach a substantial amount of income. Not everybody's journey is going to be the same. Not everybody's results are going to be the same, and the challenges that we face aren't going to be the same. But you just have to be patient, and you have to know that the process is going to lead to the destination that you want. I appreciate everyone tuning in today, and I hope I brought you some value. If you haven't already, tune in to the last episode of the podcast. I put it right here. It's Controlling the Controllables. I think it goes very well with this podcast. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment below. Help me out just a little bit with the algorithm. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.